host of East Coast Bias, diehard sports fan here from DC. It's our pal Joe House from DC. What's going on?
Yeah, boys, I hear the music in the background. What a time to be alive.
It is incredible. I was telling the guys, I actually even verbalized this because this is such a big game, the biggest game of the century for this organization, that I actually said to the guys yesterday, how come we're not doing our Super Bowl bets? And then it dawned on me it's not our Super Bowl, but it kind of is our Super Bowl. For me, anyway. Like, this game is just massive.
I mean, first time in 33 years, I want to know how many of you guys am I going to see up in Philadelphia on Sunday?
Oh.
I'm going to be there. You know I got to be there.
You are going to be there?
Well, a couple of us are hosting a party, a watch party. We got to do our thing for the radio station,
we gotta
Joe.
make some cash.
Oh, you guys.
Are you calling us soft, Joe? Is that what's happening here?
I'm just saying, if it takes another 34 years, I don't know how many of us are going to be around.
Ooh, 34 years?
34.
Yes.
Hold on.
No, you are absolutely correct.
None of us. We're dead.
I might be here, but I don't think I'm going to know what's going
You're
on.
going to be 89.
I said I might.
How old is Joe? I don't even know.
I'm your guys' age. I'm from the same walk of life, same time frame.
Yeah.
Late 80s high school, early 90s college.
Yeah.
Got you. Where'd you graduate from high school?
Gonzaga.
Oh, he's a Gonzaga guy.
I'm sorry to hear
we
that.
don't like you.
Yeah, sorry to hear
I
that.
watched Bish. I mean, I tried to see Bish get off the bench, for DeMatha Gonzaga games.
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago, man. Long time
ago. Well, that's how long it's been since Washington was in an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's crazy.
Are you feeling good about it? I mean, obviously, we have great chance. Anytime you have Jaden's under center at this point, I mean, he's not a rookie. It's crazy. I've never seen anybody like him. He's so poised. But I mean, there's so many factors that are going into this. But I mean, do you feel like really good going into it, or I'm scared? But I'm always scared.
I'm trying to have appropriate enthusiasm. I mean, look, rookie quarterbacks in the conference championship game, 0-5. Teams like Washington that won their first two rounds, won and covered, right? It's important to pay attention to the number. 1-5. Underdogs in divisional matchups in the conference championship, 0-4. So if you want to pour some settle down juice on the situation, you look at, the precedent. But look, everything about this season is unprecedented.
Yeah,
this is not about. I mean, if you wrote a script that said, "Look at this professional sports franchise that's been in the doldrums for 30 years." Drafts a new quarterback, a rookie that has the best rookie season in the history of the game, and a bunch of cast-offs and cast-abouts, a motley crew of veterans from other organizations brought together for this unprecedented run. You walk that script into a production shop and they kick you out onto the street because it's all cliche and it doesn't make any sense. This season doesn't make 5 consecutive wins on the last play of the game. None of this makes any sense. So you got to be prepared for something that might not make sense this weekend up in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and the biggest catalyst, obviously, is Jaden Daniels. But I didn't know that Dan Quinn had this sort of turnaround in him in year one.
Not what he did.
I kind of laughed when he did we're recalibrating, we're not rebuilding, before the season started. But he was right. I mean, he was completely right. And look, it doesn't happen without Jaden Daniels. He's been spectacular. And I've learned, because I've picked him the last 2 weeks, I've learned not to bet against him. I'm not betting against Jaden Daniels at this point.
Well, I think that's where everybody is. Like, on the national scene, the folks that I talked to here from, there was tempered enthusiasm. Like, hey, this Washington story is a pretty good story. This is matchup against Tampa. That's a decent matchup for Washington. But going into Detroit was a whole nother deal. Detroit was a 9.5-point favorite, which, let's be honest, that was disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But, the expectation was that Washington defense would not be able to, bottle up the crazy Detroit offense. And look, Jared Goff turned into Jared Goff, and here we are. But the thing to me is that, like, yeah, they all believe this inside that building. There's clearly something where their belief outpaces everything that we're watching in terms of trying to make sense out of it from an X's and O's perspective, and that's all Dan Quinn from my view.
How did you feel about the hire way back when he was hired? You couldn't have had that enthusiasm, did you?
Well, the way that storyline went down was that the team wanted Ben Johnson, and there's reports about Ben Johnson being on an airplane and then not being on an airplane, and that the way what was left in our mouth, the taste left in our mouth was that Dan Quinn was the second choice. Now, after the fact, the stories that came out said no, it was all happening in real time at the same time, and Quinn was very highly rated. But look, Dan Quinn was coming off of an absolute beatdown. The Dallas Cowboys, where he was the defensive coordinator, got pantsed on national television by the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs last year. So coming off of that circumstance, it wasn't like, oh my God, Dan. Now, for sure, that Dallas defense was ferocious and it was impressive, but come playoff time, they got whooped. So it didn't feel like Dan Quinn was anything other than a recalibrate kind of coach, to be honest with you.
Right. What's the key to kind of containing Saquon? Because I have a kind of an interesting view of Saquon. He's had an unbelievable season, and his talent is off the charts. But I can remember games with the Giants where we kind of did contain him a little bit. He'd have like 30 yards or something. And, the last time we played him, JP brought up a great point. He had the 68-yard run, and then everything else, I think he was like, JP said 17 for 29 in the second half. I think he had 82 yards and the other 28 carry. He's kind of an all or nothing kind of guy. They haven't done a horrible job against him.
I totally agree. The real key to containing Saquon is making sure that Philadelphia offense is as one-dimensional as possible. And I expect Saquon's going to get his. Like, if you ask me to set a line for his yards, I'd say 199.5. And if we hold him under 200, it's a victory. But let that be all of the Philadelphia offense, because Jalen's hurt. Let there be no doubt. I mean, they've been trying to keep it under wraps and being very coy about, what kind of shape he's going to be. And Jalen Hurts is hurt. And if he's not able to run, and we've watched all season long how long it takes him on passes of 10 yards or further down the football field. That man takes too long. He's been getting crushed. And we watched it with that safety that the Rams got against the Eagles just this past Sunday, holding on to the ball too long, not getting through his progressions. If this Washington defense is able to turn that offense into a one-dimensional offense and Hurts can't move and is trying to get dump-off passes, I really like the position that our defense is in. And I'll live with whatever Saquon gets. I mean, if he beats us, he beats us.
Yeah,
right. I'll live with that result, right?
House,
right.
Care to guess Saquon's current rushing prop right now on FanDuel?
It's preposterous. Is it 127.5?
You're right.
Like
It's
that?
125.5.
Yeah, right. It's ridiculous. It's an all-time high.
I mean, I can't recall seeing a guy's rushing prop for a game anywhere near that.
And you have this season's history where he's basically averaged 150.
I'd go over it. If I was, I'd go over it.
And he's going to get 25 to 30 carries.
Yeah. You saw what Gibbs did against him last week.
Right, I know. And somehow Ben Johnson went away from it. I don't know. Thank you, Ben Johnson.
Can we touch on that for a second? Have you ever seen an offensive coordinator mismanage a game more than he did? I guess maybe Kyle Shanahan and the Super Bowl.
How about Eric Bieniemy every week?
That's true.
Poor Bieniemy.
Yeah.
The brilliant Ben Johnson, but you guys just said, look, if they gave the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs 25 times in the second half, we would have lost that football game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by a lot.
I'm confident of that. Positive of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only chance we had was him putting the football in Jared Goff's hands and then Jameson Williams' hands for that pick on the stupid trick play. A little too cute, so best of luck to Ben Johnson in the NFC North.
Are you getting... See, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I think more people are starting to buy in. I'm getting 2018 and 2019 vibes. Sorry, I don't mean to jinx it or anything, but like in 2018, we weren't the best Caps team. We weren't the best Nats. What was the legendary start? 17-27 or whatever.
17-31 for the Nats.
17-31, whatever the hell they were.
Yeah, I think so.
They just got hot at the right time, and both teams had like chemistry, the perfect mix, old guys, new guys, that kind of thing. I mean, the way they've put this roster together, with Bobby Wagner, Bobby Wagner could cover about a 3 square foot area, but he's super impactful in that area, in that box. What they've gotten from Zach Ertz, the vet, Frankie Louvu coming and fitting in, Jeremy Chin making plays, and then you have the young guys that are contributing. It's been incredible.
Yeah, that's the part about the dumb movie script. These cast-offs and cast-abouts. It's those are the names, right? And it's Austin Eckler as well. All of these guys arriving, reinventing themselves, but also creating a culture. And that's the thing you got to give Dan Quinn credit for, having the right guys. Him and Adam Peterson having the right guys to help nurture. I mean, the revelation of Mike Sanders still. Let me buy that man a meal. I want to sit down with that young man and treat him, because that game against the Lions last week was amazing. But it's exactly right, EB. It's this chemistry that's going on inside the building. Those guys believe there is definitely, and during the summer, you always get, when you have a high draft pick, these stories that come out about that new rookie and the tone that he sets, and nobody works harder and all that kind of stuff. Well, I really do believe now, looking back, that Jaden Daniels did set a tone, and he is a leader of men, and they do believe, and they saw that talent, and it was like a real galvanizing force for this team. I love making that comparison to especially that Nats team that really looked like it wasn't going to go anywhere. Then Rendon got healthy, and off they went.
Talking to Joe House, Ringer personality, host of East Coast Bias. So you started off kind of busting our balls that we're not going to Philly for the game. So you're going to Philly. Just curious, how much coin did you put down for your ticket?
I don't have a ticket yet. I know that I'm going. I know that I'm going, and we're doing our Ringer pregame show live on FanDuel TV and on YouTube TV Sunday morning. So I'll be in South Philly for that show, and I figure out by hook or by crook, I'll figure out a way to get in the building.
Will you be head to toe in Commander's gear during the broadcast?
Well, that's fine, because I'll be in the studio, but I am not wearing one piece of Commander's gear to that stage.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm going to hell. I might wear an Eagles. I might wear an Eagles jersey.
Yeah, you're a secret agent.
Hey, what'd you think of that Packers guy who his fiance got yelled at by the fan? He called her a stupid.
He called her an ugly.
Yeah, bad word.
Yeah.
That looked like a setup a little bit to me. I feel like if we saw the full clip. But, that looked like just another Sunday at the Lincoln Financial Field to me.
Right.
Yeah. I see, by the way, you can get a nosebleeder for about $700 right now.
Yeah, he's got connections. He can get a media credential or something. You can find a way in there.
Yeah, you can.
Come on.
Yeah, I might have to hit up you guys for a media credential on Sunday. We'll see. I'll figure out a way to get up there, though.
All right, that's Joe House,
Thank you,
House
Joe.
from DC.
Appreciate
Thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate you, boys.
See you, bud.
Let's go, Commanders.
Gonzaga guy.
Look, I knew that.
Don't like Gonzaga, boy. But I like Joe.
You make an exception.
Yeah, I like Joe.